Oh, you've returned. How lovely it is to see you again. Welcome back. This is the second part of our first adventure. And to recap, a professor in Augustine, Pennsylvania, has asked 4 students on a bizarre assignment. They are to survey an old, forgotten cemetery. But upon closer inspection, something is amiss. They find that all of the bones are disappearing. What's more, the professor himself seems to be hiding a secret. Upon further investigation, they find a churning pile of bones underneath Mausoleum Hill. Will they discover the secrets of Augustine? Will they fight the monster? Will they find what purpose these bones serve? Or will they keep slapping every character I introduce? They keep why slapping them? Regardless, I hope you enjoy yourself and have a lovely spooky evening. And now what do you do?
Okay. Is everyone okay?
Yeah, everyone good?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Okay. What?
What?
Boneface?
Just what?
The stop
What is going
in
on?
the sky?
Oh yeah, let's talk
Why?
about that.
Let's talk about that.
About okay, just like all right, a ton of shit just happens. Or one thing at a time. What are we talking about?
We're talking about you
Me.
and when you flew.
I mean, I think we should talk about you.
Why?
I mean, with
A
that weird
bone lasso?
bone shit.
Look,
Hey.
it was like puzzle pieces.
All right, look, look. Tell no one about this, and I'll ensure that you pass any of the classes you have in this university.
Deal.
Oh.
Deal.
That's all you need to know. Don't worry about
Does that go for all of us?
it. God willing, yes.
Who's that?
But if we don't talk about it to anyone else, can we still ask you more questions?
Well, seeing as I nearly got eaten by a pile of bones, I'm in the mood to give you a little time to recollect myself. Hold on, give me a minute. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So what are you?
I'm a tech whiz.
Jeez,
Wizard?
Steve, you can't just ask people what they are.
I'm a
2021, I think.
I mean, I didn't start out as one. But just over time, shit started happening, and I just kind of went with it. It's worked so far.
I think it's amazing.
I mean, I don't know. Thank you. I mean, I'm not sure how amazing it was. I mean, that other spell that banished it. I mean, that banishing spell should have cursed. I mean, no, it shouldn't have cursed. It should have worked, or at least stopped what was going on. But I don't know.
That's good information. We know it's not a curse.
Mhm.
I mean, it could still be a curse, just more powerful than anything that at least I've seen.
In my vision, I was underground.
Yeah, what's going on with those visions? Is that something you just do?
It happens. It's whenever there's danger, whenever something weird is going to happen, it happens. I see
That's
it.
the Raven style.
A little less enjoyable.
Huh.
Fuck.
Does anyone else have some weird shit about him?
Yeah, anybody
As-
else want to share with the class?
Nope.
As
Nope.
you guys are talking, some bones just clatter by you and then just like by your ankles and then just roll into the pit and join this churning mass.
So the
Yeah.
empty graves are because the bones are being collected.
Oh.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Is there anything like dangerous around? Like it's spooky, but there's not.
There's
We're
no
not
threat.
in any
It's
danger.
not an
Again, it
imminent threat to us.
doesn't even seem to be
Noticing
noticed.
us.
Like, yeah,
There's bone soup in it.
yeah.
Okay.
You just were in a pile of bones, and you just kept sinking downwards. You felt that there was something. It felt weird, but that could have also just been the jostling of the bones. You're not entirely sure.
Okay.
You're just at the mausoleum, at the memorial mausoleum.
I've half a mind to blast this thing to bits, but seeing the type of legal scrapes we kind of dealt with today, I don't want to add desecration of a gravesite onto that.
Come on,
Technically,
no
the
big
bones
deal.
did that. The bones desecrated the graves. We
The
didn't
point being
desecrate
it
it.
was the bones.
There was the bones.
Yeah, but the state of Pennsylvania can't arrest bones.
I could try.
I would argue that
Oh.
Siegrid
I heard that
desecrated it.
bones can vote.
We could, I mean, we could blame it on Secret, but that just seems like a dick move right now.
Wasn't the weird professor around here too?
Yeah.
Was.
What was he doing out here?
And why was he sending those weird emails if he's stalking around the graveyard?
As you are wondering this, Eve, you notice this. You see a little shape in the sky flittering around. It is a bat, and the bat flies over the woods towards that building you saw in the distance.
I 100% follow the bat.
Okay,
Whoa.
Follow
so
Eve.
you the rest of you see
Bar.
that Eve is okay.
We're going after Eve.
So Eve, you walk down the hill. You go into the thicker section of the woods, and you find at the very edge of the cemetery a little beaten path that leads thicker, like deeper into the thick woods. And Colette, you know this way. This is the way to the Crestwood Sanitarium, which is pretty much the closest edge of town.
It's going where? All right, okay. So we're going to the sanitarium. Okay.
Anyway, so you walk down this old beaten path in the woods, and you find your way pretty quickly to the clearing before this large 19th century building. It is this sprawling sanitarium, and standing in front of the entrance is Professor King.
Hey.
Do you get closer to him?
Yeah.
Yep.
You see that he's reading something. And as you get closer, he doesn't even see you yet. You see that it is some weird symbol, some weird glyph. And so basically it's in some sort of like odd symbol that you don't fully understand. But he looks a bit shaken, and I guess eventually he'll just notice you if you're standing there not trying to hide. But
Yeah, am I
there's not
close?
really anywhere to hide. It's a big clearing, but
Sorry.
so he sees you and he like jumps, and he looks pretty shaken. He says, "Oh, from
Hey.
from my class.
Yeah.
My teacher's acolyte. Aide, right.
TA.
Of course, my
TA.
TA. What are you doing with the study group? Oh, I suppose you've been all working pretty late, I assume?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could say that.
What are you
Right.
doing? What are you doing out here?
Well, I'm just looking at this, and he gestures to the symbol is on the entrance. You cannot actually go into the entrance. It is bricked up. It is like a fully bricked up entrance, and so that little symbol is like scrawled on there. And so it's like, I guess it's carved onto there. And he just says, "I'm just trying to make sense of this little inscription here."
Can I? I'm trying to think. There isn't really history checks. I want to see if I recognize this glyph. So I investigate a mystery, or would I
You
not?
do not.
Okay.
Can I investigate it?
You also don't recognize it.
Can I ask him what
It's
he's
not one of the
reading?
glyphs I've written on myself in marker.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh,
It's not.
whatever.
I take a picture of the glyph anyway.
You took a picture of it. All right. And what do you do?
A
Eve?
glyph pick.
Glyph
Oh,
pick.
and I also don't recognize it.
He says, so I guess you're all just staring at it as well. And he says, I really can't make sense of this. I found symbols like this over town, and it puzzles me, frankly. So none of you.
Wait,
none of
over
you-
town? Like, how many places have you seen this weird writing?
Just a few places here and there. I just want to understand what this means, frankly. Is it just some sort of graffiti symbol? Does any of you have any ideas?
No.
Was it in the graveyard?
No, I didn't find it in the graveyard.
What
When you were
other
in the graveyard
buildings?
earlier?
Sorry?
You were in the graveyard earlier. Were you looking for the
Um,
sigil there? The glyph there?
I was. Yeah, I was in the graveyard. I was looking. I was inspecting the extent that the construction vehicles were having on the graveyard to make sure that to see if it was safe enough.
Well, we already got the email.
Right, and I just wanted to make sure that.
Well, why not do it during the day? It's matter. I actually could definitely.
There's just so many people during the day.
There's really not
But
that
you're the
many people.
But you're the professor. This is our class, especially for first. I mean, I don't mean to question your teaching skills, but
Right,
I mean-
right. You should not, because I am the professor.
I just gotta
I'm
say,
really-
adult
well,
man in
oh, yeah.
middle of graveyard with bunch of students.
Oh, you're-
I'm looking
Secrets,
good for
right?
adult man.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
wait,
why I
you're the
wasn't
professor. What's my
there with
title?
the teacher's apprentice.
No.
Right.
Yeah,
Teaches.
now I am questioning your ability as a professor.
Look.
Interesting.
All right, look, guys.
You're questioning my ability as a professor. That is, well, it's good to hear. That is some nice and honest student feedback. I will take it into account,
Thank
especially
you.
when grading your assignment. Now, none of
They
you have
found
any
it
clue as to
canceled.
what this is?
No.
Oh, that's
The
all right.
building itself, I think Colette said it was.
I know it's a sanitarium. I understand that. I just
But like sanitariums for like what kind of people would be in there?
victims of tuberculosis.
Which tuberculosis is a. I mean, I'm not a medical student, but it's like a disease
It
of the
is
blood.
otherwise known as consumption.
Hmm.
A horrible disease, often also known as the White Death.
Where you get really pale and pretty.
Look almost like a vampire.
Yeah.
I suppose, but not. I mean, not.
I think there wasn't there a
Exactly.
vampire scare up in New England.
There
People
was
thought-
Mercy Brown.
Yes, there was
Mm-hmm.
in New England. There was a vampire scare. I'm
How
so sorry.
funny would it be to like have a bunch of like vampires hang out in like a place and have them be like, "Oh, we've got tuberculosis, don't come near us," but it was really like a coven for vampires. Like how like funny would that be?
Suddenly, when you said that, his eyes just kind of go to the ground. And he seems almost sad. He says, "You'll have to excuse me." And then he walks around the building and disappears from sight.
I say, do you know Robert Pattinson?
Do we follow him?
Are
Yeah.
you asking this in character?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
I mean, last time I tried to follow him, I think he turned into a bat.
he turned what?
And that's vampire bullshit. And he got freaked out when I said vampire.
Oh, we gotta see what's going on. Oh, we gotta see this.
So you peer around the corner and you do not see him. But you do see a fire escape that leads all the way up the building, and it stops at the ceiling. And Colette, it stops at the ceiling, and you see at the very top a little bit of motion, like something might have flown up there.
Okay. So, guys,
The fire escape seems to be the only accessible, climbable point
All
at this.
right,
on this
so-
entire-
I climb it.
Oh.
I'm going up the fire
You
escape.
go up the fire escape. Okay, so
I'm going.
you scale
Me
the
too.
fire escape. You climb higher and higher until you can see the tops of the trees, and you see the roof. Part of the roof is caved in. So you go up this rickety fire escape, and you find also there's some plant life that is starting to grow on top of this roof. And actually, the amount of rubble that has caved in gives you a way to climb down. And you see some graffiti here and there, so you suspect that other people have done this before. So, urban explorers, kids, graffiti artists have probably climbed down this little path of rubble to the ground.
Before we do anything else, the two of you with spooky powers, if we're going to deal with vampires, just because I feel like,
my stylus is made of silver.
well, another thing that always kills vampires is sunlight. And all of this weird shit started happening when
The sun went down.
it went darker. Could either of you conjure anything close to sunlight if things got hairy in there?
I could try.
Not fully in my wheelhouse.
You can download Sunlight app to iPad.
Create UV rays.
Or
I think I have
Is-
an idea. I think I have an idea what to do.
So you go down.
yeah,
Okay. So you climb down the rubble and into the abandoned sanitarium. Inside, you find dozens of rooms down a long hallway. And as you move past those your rooms, you find all these desolated beds with rotting mattresses. But one of you, as you're walking along, finds a room with a ledger. A long ledger that on the wall lists all of the patients on a wooden board. And it lists around 80 to 100 names at a cursory glance. So as you make note of that, you also find children's toys, graffiti, discarded furniture, a little bit of dried blood here and there. And as you're walking along, ceiling panels are scattered across the floor like chunks of ice or something, like ice flows, but you're stepping across them. At one point, you even see tallies on a few of the walls, coating the walls in endless marks. And eventually, you go down the stairway and find the bottom floor, which is really just the main hall, with dozens of empty beds. And you see at the end of the main hall, Professor King looking at the door to the outside, the one that is bricked up, and you see he is trembling. He seems rather upset. Do you get closer?
Can we
maybe
scan
hangs
for-
back.
Sorry, one at a time? What?
Can we scan for a dangerous situation? See if there's any sort of
You
hidden
look
threat
around
nearby?
and you don't really see any actual threat to you. He seems fully preoccupied with whatever he sees at the door. And who said, and what did you say, Phoebe?
She hangs back, but I guess she'll. Professor?
He puts his head in his hands and just like, you can tell at this point that he's crying.
If something's going on, you really need to tell us because now you've dragged us into this.
He doesn't reply. He's just staring at this door. I mean, because it's also very, like, you're like maybe like 150 feet to 200 feet away. So you're just kind of like, if there's something, like,
Just so you know, you've put the 4 people else in danger. We're all in danger now if Something's happening.
He doesn't even seem to be like paying attention to you.
I shoot my
I
gun
go
up in the air. Boom! See if he gets his attention.
Yeah, I guess it does. Some rubble falls onto your head, like some just like little, pebbles and stuff like that, getting into your hair. And was anyone next to you?
I
You
thought
tell
we
me, Siegrid.
I kind of thought we were somewhat close. How next to me?
Who's the closest person to you?
I was thinking, Colette.
Colette, you can't hear out of your right ear now. Anyway, so
I just go.
his ears like twitch, almost like a dog. So he definitely hears you, but he's still just crying.
I go closer to him.
All right. So as you get closer, so you're the only one. Okay. So as Eve walks ahead of all of you and gets closer to the professor, and you see that what he's staring at this door are dozens upon dozens of deep scratch marks. And you turn and you see Professor King, and you notice that he is in fact crying blood. He looks at you and just startles, tries to kind of move away until he sees that you're all just sort of there, and he says, all right. And he sits on the ground and just puts his head in his hands. He says, I can't believe this. I didn't think it was this bad.
What's this bad?
He doesn't hear you because you're like 200 feet away.
All right.
Okay, yeah, we're going up as soon as he
Alright,
sits down.
All
in the
right. So, Colette didn't hear that. I guess, like, everyone goes up. It's like,
What's this bad? Yeah, no,
What's
actually,
this
yeah, you
bad?
wouldn't. Have heard it,
huh?
we
What
can't
did he
hear
say?
from over here. So
Eve!
So do you all
What's
get
this
closer?
bad?
I'm not getting closer to him.
I think as
Okay.
soon as
Not.
as soon as he comes like around to Eve, Phoebe feels like it's safer to approach if Eve is there because Eve can do
Yeah.
crazy shit.
He said, Eve, what did you say?
I said, what's gotten this bad?
It hasn't gotten this bad. It's always been this bad. I just didn't know the extent of it.
The extent of what?
He looks up at you with like teary eyes, like bloodshot eyes, except in this case, quite
Literal
literally.
blood.
He wipes it away and he says,
the
all
stench
right,
of these.
so you know. And he holds up his hand. I knew that I couldn't keep the secret for long. Yes, I'm a vampire. Yes, of course. But I promise you I am not a monster. What was done here was monstrous.
The people who locked your people inside?
They weren't my people.
But were they like you?
No, but everyone thought they were.
Because they were sick and they looked like you.
Listen, I haven't killed a person. At least not in a very long time and only out of necessity. But I've been pursued. But I've been pursued across so many different places for centuries. And I was not lying. I did live in Augustine about 2 centuries ago. I thought that because it was so remote here that it would shield me. I even became friends with Demetrius Augustine Galitzin, the namesake.
The founder. Shit.
He, even though he was a holy man, he took pity on me. And we had a friendship for quite some time. But after the decades, the town became suspicious. And then the outbreak happened. Rumors began to flew around, and accusations were made in how long ago was it? 1890 must have been, well, 1888. I'm not sure. It's been some time. But the whole town went, forgive the term, but hysterical. They went mad, and they thought that those who were suffering consumption, the ones boarded here, were themselves. And he breaks into tears again. He looks, after he composes himself, he says, "You're right," and he turns to you, Colette. "In New England, they thought that those who had consumption were being drained by vampires. But in Augustine, they were thought to be them. And I was a coward. I said nothing. I kept my head down. And in Augustine's darkest day, they bricked up the entrance, leaving 94, I believe, to die." From what I was reading, in the 30s, the town council voted to build a memorial to those who died, and that's what I was looking at the cemetery.
mausoleum.
The mausoleum. And so, actually, if you were to go inside, you'd find that a team of construction workers came down here to go and retrieve the bodies and found none of them present. Instead found some sort of grooves or something in the dirt floor.
Holes.
So, to this day, there are actually no bodies in the community mausoleum.
That does not surprise me.
So they were just meant as a tribute.
Well, Professor, it does seem like there are a great many of bones in the community mausoleum currently.
Just a little deeper.
What?
We went into the mausoleum. Did you not notice? Actually, did you not notice?
Of course, that was you who was following me. Why didn't I?
Yeah.
Of course. So you followed me to the mausoleum. You found what there?
Bones.
Bones.
They're
Lots
all
of
over the
bones.
place. They're moving.
There was a face.
Wow.
We made a lasso.
It's a lot of bones.
Of
What
bones.
are you?
Okay.
That isn't right. That shouldn't be the.
Okay. So we noticed that there were bones on the ground, moving by themselves towards the mausoleum. We went down to investigate it.
Bones moving on their own.
Yes.
Yes. Catch up.
And basically, we went in to check the mausoleum to see if there was any bones in the caskets. There weren't. And then when we tried to go back up, the floor gave out on us, and then we just ended up in a big giant pile of bones that tried to eat us.
So there weren't grave robbers. There were no grave robbers. It was the bones themselves. I was hearing about it, and I, to be honest with you, thought that grave robbers were ransacking the cemetery, and I didn't want any of you getting involved in that. So the bones are moving up. I need to, and then as you are all talking, you feel a deeper than ever before, tremor in the earth. He says, "We need to go back to the cemetery. Or at least I do. If you want to stay safe here and stay put, then that is absolutely understandable. But I need to go and see, although I would like to be shown what so just at the mausoleum? Listen, I can go. You children stay safe here and just stay put and sit and stay, and I'll go.
I'll go with you.
Yeah, absolutely not. We'll
And
come.
I will. And
Okay,
I will
goodbye.
be right. And so he goes. He starts scrambling up the stairs on foot.
All right. I follow.
I
Yeah,
scramble up there
I say,
too.
good luck.
I grab Siegrid and I say, "No offense, Professor. You've already said you were a coward. We're coming with you."
Okay, so you
Oh.
all go. So in a total shaggy move, Siegrid, you are being dragged along by your arm. Probably. Well, actually, you do have a pocket full of chicken wings. So
Yeah, but not many left.
She spent 3 in the bone monster.
oh my God.
So perhaps
So-
you've gained favor with it.
so-
Trying to see if all bones were the same. I guess not.
So-
Wow.
Wow, like all bones are the same. Wow, that's
That's
Wow.
Speciesist?
problematic. Yeah, bone like
ostracist. Ostracizing?
Ooh.
No, not
Anyway.
ostrich bone, chicken bone.
Osteo
The
something.
point is this.
the point is you're a bigot. No.
You go the way you came. Oh my God. So you go the way you came. You scale up the stairs and you climb along the rubble and you all rush together. At this point, the professor doesn't even turn into a bat. He sees that you're with him and he's like, there's nothing. He realizes there's nothing he can do. The earth is continuing to tremble. And as you get closer to the mausoleum, you get there just in time as you see the columns holding it up fall inwards, the roof caves, and the entire mausoleum crumbles into the earth as that tone that you've been hearing straight up for maybe the last several hours. I should have mentioned it never went away. When you were in the pit of bones, it was still present. But now it is louder than ever, and it is an ear-piercing shriek. It is like but not a shriek that sounds like any human voice, like a tone, like I don't know, nails
Like a
on
dog whistle?
chalkboard,
Oh, okay.
or two objects that should not be scratched together, scratching together. And as you look, this entire hill caves in, and a massive hand reaches out, clambering onto the hill, followed by another hand as a massive, impossible thing rises out of the mound. It is a titanic creature that is composed of the bones that you were inside of. And as it lifts its massive jaws, it emits another high-pitched shriek. It stands dozens of stories tall, about 90 feet. Its colossal frame made out of countless tightly packed bones. Its gargantuan composite skull loosely swivels around, its eyes being dark cavities with small glowing pupils, which are really the tops of gleaming white skulls. Professor King stands numb, and he just utters, "The Gashadokuro." Oh no. Oh
Wait.
no.
Wait.
No,
Wait.
no.
Wait,
No. This is very bad. This is very bad.
Gosh, what? Wait, isn't that some Japanese shit?
It's a phenomena. It was first recorded in 19th century Japan, named after the gasha sound they make when they are forming. That explains the rustling I heard earlier this evening.
Shit.
They have
Okay.
no weakness. They're too large and powerful. They're formed of high concentrations of post-mortem anger and frustration. They exist until the energy and malice in their souls are burnt out. It's the fuel of their construct. They've probably been drawing bones in the cemetery for years. And the construction. Oh no.
We must have roused them.
And while he is explaining this, the beast extends a colossal arm out to a parked construction vehicle and crushes it in its palm, then lifting it to its massive jaws and shearing it in half with its countless sharp teeth that are composed of protruding ribs. It hurls, as it lifts this metallic mass to the ground, you see behind you Pepper again. She says, "The fuck? I was gonna say busted, but now, and as she's looking up at the Gashadokuro, it sees her, and flings the construction vehicle towards her. What do you do?
I'm gonna use
I-
magic.
I
What
laugh.
do you do?
All right. I'm gonna use magic. I am going to. And actually, I'm not only going to use magic. I'm going to use my rote,
What is your rote?
electroturgy. Basically, it requires an object of power which must be welded, which is my iPad, as
Right.
well as runes or symbols written or engraved on a surface. I'm just going to use like things in the air, and essentially it's the manipulation. Well, actually, I'm just gonna roll and I'll tell you what it does.
Yeah, roll. So what are you trying to do?
I'm going to destroy that construction vehicle.
Oh, that's cool as fuck. Okay, yeah. Try.
Hell
What did
yeah.
you get? What did you get?
I got an 8.
Okay, so choose your glitch. The effect is weakened. The effect is of short duration. You take 1 harm. The magic draws immediate unwelcome attention. It has a problematic side effect.
I'm going to take 1 harm, and basically what it looks like is what you see is me put my sauce out, do a circle, or like do like the lightning symbol.
You
Looks like
do the Disney Channel.
yeah, the Disney Channel.
My name is Colette, and you've been
Hey,
watching
watching
Augustine.
on the Disney Channel, but basically you see like the zigzag thing that you find on like a charging port.
Yeah.
Looks like a lightning bolt. Do a circle, and what you see is just a gout of lightning.
So you shoot this bolt that plows right into the construction vehicle, hurtling towards Pepper. And Pepper looks at you with her jaw literally underground. As how big her gape is right now, as she is looking, and then she just faints. The construction vehicle explodes, but the static electricity burns your hand as a piece of shrapnel of the construction vehicle goes hurtling towards you and hits you right in the chest, knocking you down. Your iPad clattering about a foot away from your hand. After this happens, the Gashadokuro kind of swivels its head further and is kind of inspecting what is around it, until suddenly you all hear the faint sound of music. Copyrighted music. You all you scan the distance to see what that could be until you see Colette, you recognize it instantly. Back at your apartment building, you see the lights on in the 7th floor. It's your neighbors throwing another party. The Gashadokuro suddenly swivels its massive head to this building.
Oh no.
And begins to clamber towards it.
Oh god.
What do you do?
All right, can I reach out and get my iPad?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
But yeah, you can do that.
Can I do a big whammy?
Yes, you can. What are you going to do?
Do I just describe what I physically do?
Tell me what you do.
Okay.
The rules fit the story. The story doesn't fit the rules. That's what I like to say.
I start to levitate, and then I unleash an army of crows.
Okay, so I guess that's roll to kick some ass, right?
Yeah.
Are you sending the crows to just attack the
To attack it,
Gashadokuro?
pick apart its bones.
Okay, so do
And
that.
just kinda dive through it.
Roll to kick some ass.
Okay, we got an 8.
What is the effect of the big whammy, by the way?
It's the attack has 2 harm, close, obvious, ignore armor. On a miss, you'll get a magical backlash. And just use your powers to kick some ass.
Got it. Cool. Okay, so here's what happens. Okay, that makes sense. So this horde of crows descends on the Gashadokuro and starts trying to pick out the little bones individually. and it shrieks again as its back is being picked out, and it starts to swat at this swarm of crows. You can see that a huge amount of bones are removed before it is able to swipe through these phantasmal crows, and then it wheels its massive head towards you. The bones that fell to the ground then roll back up into the Gashadokuro and fill in where they once were. But the Gashadokuro glares at you and starts to clamber towards you and swipes onto the ground, hurtling gravestones towards you. One of the gravestones clips you, nailing your shoulder, and you take 1 harm as you fall to the ground. And it is now advancing towards you.
Professor, I know you said that this thing couldn't be hurt or harmed in any way, but you're wrong.
Well, what do you mean?
You said that it was an amalgamation of anger.
Right.
And what's it angry at? The construction site. We have to dismantle the construction site. That's the only way to defeat it. We can't hurt the creature. We can hurt the thing that it's angry at. And then maybe it might find peace.
As soon as you say the words, we have to find what it's angry at, it slowly dawns on him. And he says, oh no. And he begins to run.
Follow him.
The Gashadokuro starts to swivel around, and it sees the professor running, and suddenly changes direction and starts clambering after him. He's running towards the woods, back towards the sanitarium.
Angry at him.
Oh, I'm wrong. It's because he was a coward with the vampire. He was a coward, and it's all the bodies of the vampires.
The not vampires.
The not vampires. They're mad at him.
I mean, we could follow, but
and do
I'm
what?
not going to stop it.
Gonna kill our professor. Or Siegrid? You want to kill our professor?
I mean,
I'm
not
okay with that.
particularly, but if only option.
I don't know. I mean, he is undead, so
Then he can be re-dead.
Can he be?
Could we make him human again?
Or double kill.
We could double, but that. I get.
You see in the distance trees falling as the Gashadokuro is pushing its way through the forest.
Can we have this conversation as a run and talk?
Yeah. Wait. All right. Phoebe's here. Oh, not Phoebe. Well, Phoebe is here. She's trying, but Pepper's also here.
She's not in danger.
Leave
Leave her.
Pepper.
Leave Pepper.
Leave Pepper.
Unless you want to carry her.
You can carry Pepper, but I'm not helping Pepper.
I'm not. There's no way in heaven or hell I'm carrying her. You're right. All right.
Leave Pepper. Agreed?
Let's go.
Agreed.
Let's
Agreed.
go.
Agreed.
So
Yeah,
you
no.
all leave Pepper and you are running towards the sanitarium.
Mm-hmm.
Are you running like on the same path the Gashadokuro is heading and just gonna like run between its legs, or are you gonna like run like through the woods off the path? How are you gonna get there?
I think we should split up.
That's the opposite of what we should do.
But I do think we should run like Siegrid did before when she was not quite following us.
Serpentine.
Yeah.
Serpentine.
Okay, so you run like what do?
I guess we're zigzagging.
So you
Yeah.
zigzag, and you see that the Gashadokuro doesn't even seem to be honestly noticing you. It is just chasing, and the professor is starting to stumble, and he's unbelievably terrified, and he's like in the clearing now, and you are able to make it to him as the you're actually able to outspeed the Gashadokuro. I guess you just like run by it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're just so it's like not it's what the guy in Game of Thrones should have done, the kid when he got shot with arrows.
But like
Yeah.
it's like a big ass thing. So you're just like running between its legs, or you're running around it, or what?
Around.
Around.
Okay,
Um,
so you run around it. So you run in the forest, and you were able to find the clearing, and you see the professor just freaking out. He's saying, he sees you all, and he says, no, don't. Uh, well, I think it wants me.
It wants
I don't.
you.
Destroy the building. Destroy the
Easier
building where
said
everything.
than done.
You don't know the power we have. I say as somebody without magical powers.
No, that's like we.
You can try, but well, look. Why don't we go? Do you want to? Should we take refuge in the meantime in there, or should we just until we figure out what to do? Or oh, it's here, and you see it's like
Yeah.
the trees are falling, and he just instinctively just starts running up. He actually turns into a bat and just flies up,
Okay.
and goes back into the ceiling. Do you follow?
You would turn
Into the
into a bat
ceiling?
again.
Yeah,
Do
the
we
way
follow
you
into
went,
the ceiling?
To go into
the way you went back. Remember
Oh, right.
the roof, the roof.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So
What's
all right,
the
so
what's the
you
monster doing?
return with the professor, and the monster is getting closer and closer. The ringing in your ears, you can tell how close it is by the ringing in your ears, and you see that he is just a mess, like in a slump on this pile of rubble, and he's looking at all the memorabilia of all of these objects all around him, like all the remains of the people that lived at the sanatorium. You know, he's looking at the children's toys and whatnot, and all the things that you saw before, the beds, the ledger, the toys, everything like that. So, and he's just like a crumpled wreck.
All right. All right. I walk up and I'm like, listen. I don't know half the shit's been going on, but right now we have a giant pile of bones that wants something, and it either wants you or this place. I really hope it's not you. So
if it wants me, what? He turns to you and he says, I don't want to die.
again.
I mean,
Well, wasn't really dying. I'm still here.
Is your
Well,
heart beating?
yeah, and I don't want to kill anyone right now.
I just
So we could. I understand. I understand. There's a lot of sentiment here. You feel as if that, like, if you let this place go, you're betraying them again. That you're dying again. But right now,
just wish I could. I'm so sorry.
Do you wish you could let them all out? If you could go back in time and let them all out?
And he looks at you. Say that one last bit again.
Like, if you could just, like, go back in time, like, had a time turner or whatever.
Right,
like,
right. No, I can't. I'm not a wizard.
yeah, man.
Like-
Say that other part.
Let
Yeah.
them all out. Let them out of the building that's been boarded up.
That's it.
Got to break down the
I mean,
door.
at least it's worth a try.
Let's go.
Let me think.
We don't. I don't think we have much time. to
They're bound because they're angry, right? They're
Yes.
angry at perhaps not me because they didn't go.
They
right for
didn't. They
me.
didn't know it was you.
I think they're angry at the town, at everything. They're just angry. I'm going to try to. I think you should try to break down the door. Try to destroy the brick. Go downstairs and find the. If you try,
Done.
We got some
What about the
firepower.
rune?
let's do it.
Wasn't there a
the only
rune
thing
on the
is,
door?
the only thing is, I just want. We need to hold it off. And as he says that, suddenly you hear a horrifying, just this terrible rending sound. As you look up and you see, the ceiling, giant bony fingers poking through as it peels it back. And the Gashadokuro is looking straight in at you all, and its head is swiveling as its eyes focus on you, and it shrieks again. It starts to climb into the massive sanitarium, and he says, all right, I'm going to try to apologize, I suppose, to distract it, maybe.
Sure.
Um,
I'm gonna.
the only thing is, I don't know who is in there.
At this point, if it's a bunch of people, I don't think it matters who specifically it is. Apologize for the situation. Apologize the fact that instead of being treated as people, as patients, they're treated as a problem.
Right. I'll do that. But I just want to make sure that I don't know. Spirits often are offended when they are not recognized.
Well, wasn't there the names, the book of names?
What do you mean the book of names? What?
The book of names.
We found the ledger
Where? And
somewhere.
it's like right in the hall that you are in.
It's like right in the hall.
Right here in the hall.
Go, Siegrid, go! Go, Siegrid, go! Go, Siegrid!
So
In the hall we're in.
well, which one? Show me which room.
This! The hall!
It's
All right,
not.
all right.
What?
Look, Siegrid, show him where ledger is so we can start apologizing.
Here's the hall we're in.
Yeah.
Like you
Are
said.
you sure you want her to lead me? To
Yes!
where it is?
No. All right, Sigrid, lead him to the hallway. Lead him to the ledger in the hallway where he can start apologizing. Phoebe, make sure Sigrid does not kill him.
I'm grabbing Siegrid. I'm grabbing Siegrid, and we're going down the hallway.
All right,
all right.
Like a
You
dog
two will
who's
destroy
got
the door.
scent.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then and then as he's like speaking, the Gashadokuro flings a giant arm of bones towards you, and it's hard to get at you because of the way the building is. It's not like it can clearly get to you. It reaches its arms down, which collapses into bones, which turns into almost a slithering kind of mass of bones as it is reaching towards you. And he says, "Also, probably run from that."
Yeah.
And
no,
so,
I'll remove it.
all right. So, Professor King runs with you, Siegrid, and you, Phoebe, to the place where the ledger is kept, which was a little nurse's office. And so you go inside that room. Meanwhile, Colette and Eve, you tear down the stairs, and you see the boarded up. Wall with the scratch marks on it. What do you guys do first?
I mean, I want to use magic.
Me
What
too.
do
Yeah.
you do?
Yeah.
I'm gonna use electroturgy again.
Okay. And what do you do, Eve?
I want to what is it? I mean, I want to learn what is there, like there was the runes over it, right?
Right,
So is there
but
a
you don't
spell-
know what those are.
Can I learn what they are through the magic of magic? No.
You cannot.
Then I'll let you go first.
You sure? Okay. So all right. So I'm gonna cast electroturgy again.
Mhm.
You're going to roll 5, 3. That's 8, 9, 10. That's a 10.
How do roads work again?
Basically, if I can either make one before I start a game, or if it's a spell that I use during a game and I decide to make it a rote, it's basically like a custom spell.
Got it. Okay.
And I basically create its effects and stuff. I can get new rotes whenever I mark 5 experience.
Sure thing.
So I can't just
Got it.
make a bunch of rotes all at once. So on a 10 for electroturgy, the effect works as intended. Any affected devices are fully charged, turned on or off. If weaponized, target can be either lightly zapped, stunned, or vaporized completely.
Okay.
And I got a 10. So
you so you do the symbol and it electrifies the wood, which bursts into flames. And
I was aiming at the brick door.
the wood is in front of the brick door.
Oh.
So the wood burns away. And now there's the brick door. Eve, what do you do?
I want to cast a hex.
What do you do?
To break something important or precious.
Fuck yeah.
So-
Okay. So roll.
Gotta. I got a 11,
Ooh.
I think. Plus
So,
2.
Before we talk
13.
about that, holy moly, 13. Like the date.
The highest rolls.
Friday the 13th. Okay, well, we're gonna deal with that in just a little bit. I should have cut back already, but Siegrid and Phoebe, you are running down the hall as the Gashadokuro is reaching its arm towards you, and you duck into the room, and the fingers start to form around the walls and start ripping it apart, trying to gain access to you. One of you needs to do something to hold it off. Who does what?
I could cause a distraction, is what I have an idea for.
What do you do?
So Phoebe realizes that because it was distracted by the music before. So she takes out her iPhone, flips up Spotify, and plays a song as loud as it happens. And the first song that comes up would be the band ABBA, because that's an A. And the only song Phoebe has is Lay All Your Love on Me, and that's blasting through the speaker. She's doing it like the Breakfast Club, trying to get its attention.
As you hold this up, the other arm suddenly comes crashing down on the ceiling as both hands rip open this section of the ceiling, and the Gashadokuro is looking right at you. Roll to protect someone.
Yep.
And that is going to be plus tough, as your tough.
Plus tough. Ooh, so I got an 8. 2 4s plus 2. That's a 10.
That is a 10. So you rolled an 8 plus... Oh.
I rolled 2 4s, and then my tough is plus 2.
So you got to choose an extra thing. You suffer little harm, so you don't take any harm at all. All impending danger is now focused on you. You inflict harm on the enemy, or you hold the enemy back. What do you do?
Hold the enemy back, I think, through.
So, okay, the creature is distracted by you, and suddenly both of its hands clutch around you and start to squeeze you as the little phalanges and finger bones start to pry into your rib cage, and you take 1 harm as it begins to lift you.
What about my armor class?
Oh, we don't have armor.
You take harm anyway because you chose not to reduce your harm. Siegrid, what do you do?
Watching it happening, and I shed a single tear, and I sing, "Don't go wasting your emotion."
So you sing along to this, I guess, funeral dirge?
Yeah.
You gotta show him where the bucket is.
All your love.
Professor King is like
On
looking
me.
around for the book, and he's like, "Where the hell is it? Oh, it's on the wall." And he reads, and he looks, and he sees you, Siegrid. He says, "Before we save the day, I must say there is definitely something wrong with you, deeply and deeply wrong with you." Anyway, so Phoebe, you are being lifted higher and higher into the air. As the jaws of the creature extend this massive infinite maw as it is beginning to close around you. But as it does, you hear the professor's voice say, "Stop! I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everything. I'm sorry that you were seen as something you were not. I'm sorry that you were castigated by the people that you were supposed to trust. I'm sorry to you," and he begins to read all of the names. And with each name, the Gashadokuro loosens its grip and lowers you to the ground as its attention is rapt watching Professor King read these names out loud. And the creature is just kind of watching. And it is now silent. The ringing in your ears dulls for a moment, as suddenly, after reading the last name, you hear a singular shriek in an inhuman voice scream, "Out!" And Professor King says, and it shrieks out again as it turns its head towards the lower floor. He says, "Oh! Out!" And suddenly it rips open the floor. Actually, no, it doesn't rip open the floor. It presses hard on the floor, collapsing the entire second floor, thankfully, with the or actually no, taking you all down with it. So everyone roll to act under pressure, and by everyone, I mean really just Phoebe and Siegrid, actually, because you two are at the door, so you're safe.
Okay.
That's sorry. What's that? It's a.
Yeah, what's the modifier?
That is
That's
plus
cool.
cool.
Like,
Oh,
Okay.
okay. So I got a 3 + 2. That's a 5 because I am still in this thing's hands.
What about you, Siegrid?
I'm just checking. I think my cool is -1. It sure is. And I got, oh, where'd the other dice go? Okay, 5, 6, 7, -1, 6.
I do.
So
I
you
do have to
both
tell
are
everyone.
taken down.
You can't. You can use luck, y'all.
And
Yeah.
you both go with the floor collapsing, and suddenly everything goes dark for a moment. And then suddenly you open your eyes, and the professor is gripping both of you, trying to hold you aloft. But eventually he loses his grip, and you fall to the floor, but only take 1 harm. But you could have taken a lot more.
But I failed, didn't I?
Yes, but the professor did save you, so you do take a harm, but the professor helped.
Oh,
And
thank you.
so he looks at you both and he says, "Are you all right?"
Eh,
So yeah, technically, but
So as the rubble clears, you see, and by the way, Colette, after you burn the door, you see the floor collapse behind you, and the Gashadokuro suddenly staring right at you and scrambling towards you both. As suddenly, all of you actually hear what sounds like a distant and sharp caw. As Eve, why don't you describe what happens next in your true, fullest, most powerful form?
So I transform into the goddess, whose name is always hard.
You don't
for me
have to.
pronounce.
You don't have. You turn into something divine.
I
You
turn into
see-
something
Biden.
divine.
Joseph
turn into,
my hair-
you turn
my
into
hair
Joe Biden.
My hair turns white.
Like Joe
my
Biden?
eyes
Oh,
become
good.
a glowing white. I'm suddenly get dressed in a long red gown, and I have crows flying all around me as I stand basically on one leg. And as I cast the hex, I basically scream, making a caw myself, and it rips through the brick door, hopefully.
Yes, you do exactly that. You scream with an unbelievable volume, and honestly, just have a flick of the wrist as the brick wall blows away, as if it were made out of sand during during a hurricane. The bricks scatter into pieces, and there are no more traces of any brick wall as the Gashadokuro is heading quickly towards you. Do you step aside?
I think I turn around and I scream again at it.
It does not seem to stop this thing. It is running straight towards you.
I step aside.
Yeah, well, I move.
You move out of the way as the Gashadokuro is screeching out as it bursts through the doorway in a gigantic torrent almost of bones. And as you kind of peer out the door, you see simply a clearing littered with bones. And I guess the rest of you would probably go and see this too.
Mm.
And as the 5 of you watch, the bones then start to basically more or less crawl their way back to the cemetery. And the professor says, "Well," as he looks to the sky and it is the morning, he says, "I suppose I'll see you all in class." and he walks away, back towards town.
Is this extra credit?
We're going to cut to class. And so, by the way, as you're walking to class, Phoebe, you run into Zach, and Zach says, "Hey, I just want to say, I hope that I didn't take any of that, frustration out at you. I'm just absolutely terrified of the people that you associate with. So, I hate, I'm actually really busy the next few weeks, so I don't think I'll be able to make our. I'm really busy with Penn State Altoona, the whole the excavation work. Because actually, I should tell you, the serial killer's body was back in the grave plot when we looked this morning.
Okay,
So-
great. Like, what a fun little story for you and your friends to tell about Augustine. Ooh, the serial killer disappeared. Yeah, like anyone's gonna believe that, loser. And I turn and I walk away.
I say, yeah, like anyone's gonna believe that, loser.
And the second time I touch Siegrid, but this is the first time I've touched her in a nice way that's not like dragging her towards something. I pat her on the back and I walk off with her.
When you say that, Siegrid, by the way, he flinches.
As he should.
As he should.
You all
Power.
file into class as Pepper, whose hair is just a mess and is covered in dirt, just kind of like stumbles, kind of lost around campus until she kind of stumbles her way into class. And she sees all of you and she just kind of looks confused and doesn't even seem like she wants to begin to process anything, and just sits in class. Doesn't even have her backpack, doesn't have a notebook. She just kind of sits in class and puts her head on the desk. Eventually, Professor King re-enters and he says, hello, class. And he kind of gives the four of you sort of a knowing look. Says, due to the unusual seismic activity over the last few days, I have some good news. The construction project is being halted indefinitely, and thus the cemetery stays. But instead of resuming your project to explore it, I've instead produced this. And he takes out a list and he starts handing it to everyone except your table. He says, this is an itemized list of the victims of the late 19th century tuberculosis outbreak, and I want you all to research them using the town's archives and do a report on some of the victims. Right. Of course, however, table over there, and he kind of like just furtively nods to you. You are exempt from this assignment due to your extra credit. Although I would like
So
you
it
all to
was
see me
extra
after
credit.
class. What'd you say?
So it was extra credit.
And so he moves on with class, and eventually class is dismissed as he begins to talk about the beginnings of Augustine. And he asks to see you all after class. So do you approach the desk?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Actually, can I do something before?
Go ahead.
Like I walk over to Pepper, and I just like kind of bend down, and it's like, hey, hi, how you doing?
She just groans. Just
Look, a lot of shit happened last night that none of us expected, and we're still trying to process. But
You better not have drugged me, she said, muffled under the desk.
look,
I
if
don't
I
know
wanted,
what because I was seeing some weird stuff last night.
yeah, I bet. Regardless, it was wrong of me to threaten you in such a way. Especially if I'm trying to be a TA, I can't let things like that, my pride or personal things get in the way of doing my job and being as professional and respectful as possible. So, you don't have to accept this apology. I was a bitch. but I figured it was worth a shot. I also might have emailed you some study material for next week's assignment.
And I
So she
emailed
have
you
a
a
chance.
virus, so don't open that email.
And
You're
if you
not
ever
even
follow us
there.
again-
No,
If you ever follow us
Siegrid
again, I'll send a
absolutely appeared
crow.
behind you and said that.
Okay.
What did you say, Emma?
If she follows us again, I will send a crow after her, and it will just follow her around and peck at her until she dies.
Do you say this like out loud, or are you like whispering this to the group?
I say it out loud, but
That's
in a low whisper. She
impeccable.
can hear it. She
Wait,
can
how many
hear
other
it,
people are in here?
but just
At this point, the
barely.
class is
Didn't
already
lock the
is
door.
dismissed. So
Oh, is
Oh, just walked in.
yeah. Oh, yeah. And Pepper's still there. All right.
Only the intended people can hear it,
Okay.
but she
okay,
knows about the crow.
Okay.
She knows.
All right.
So
Yeah.
her like head, she kind of looks up and just kind of looks like right in your eyes, Colette, and she just kind of like nods slowly before slumping out of her chair and walking out. And before she leaves, she turns to you, Siegrid, and she says in a very kind of husky kind of voice, she says, "Did you really send me a virus?" Okay. And she just like stumbles out like a zombie, just done.
I look at Secret.
Bye.
Wait, I look at Secret like, are you a comp sci major? How do you send a virus?
No, I don't have a major.
No.
No.
By the
No.
way, so like I assume you go up to talk to Professor King,
Yeah.
and he says, yes, I just wanted to reaffirm that you are exempt from this assignment. And I just wanted to just sort of ask how. There's one more thing I didn't tell you. So I did know what the glyph on the sanitarium meant. It means vampires here within, and I wanted to see if any of you knew it. Because if you did, then you would be a threat to me, because that is a glyph from the Order of Abraham.
Lincoln?
No.
I mean, because there were the movies, Abraham Lincoln.
That's like the
Vampire
number
Hunter.
one. Yeah, Abraham.
It's true.
So it's kind of like,
Well,
you know.
the Bible, nothing really. All right.
okay, that makes more sense.
So it's well, I really don't know much about it. It could be from the Bible. It could be a Bram Stoker reference for all I know. But all I know is that they are fiercely opposed to anything like me, and they were the main ones that have been chasing me around for all these years. And they were the ones who started telling everyone in town about the presence of vampires, and regardless, you're not them, so I suppose you are safe. Speaking of safe, I just want to ask that I may have your utmost discretion to not, as they say, out me. I have been running for a very, very long time, and I am running out of places to hide. And I know the people that wish to kill me are not far behind, and thus I need to keep a low profile. And anything I can do to compensate your discretion, I'd be happy to oblige. I just need to know that I'm safe with you.
Professor, of course, we went through so much last night.
As long as you don't talk about the things that you saw.
Yeah, but it's just one night. Do we really know this guy? Just one day.
He saved us from falling into the rubble. Secret, he saved us from falling into the rubble.
He's
Pretty big night.
vampire. It kind of seems silly promise to make.
There are things worse than vampires.
Like what?
Giant bone monsters?
There's the person I'm suspicious of being a banshee.
I mean, you.
Okay, well,
That's
yeah.
a good point.
Yeah,
You
that's a
did,
point.
yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
go
yeah.
on.
Yeah, you're here.
All
Look.
right. Well, can I count on you? Well, most of you, except Siegrid. Well, then again, I don't know if Siegrid has enough people to tell about the secret, so
That's fair.
can I count on you?
You can count on me.
He
Sure,
looks
go.
over to you, Eve.
If I can count on you,
And
I
he
won't
looks
tell
at you.
anyone.
He looks at you, Colette.
I'm your TA. Of course, you can count on me.
And he looks at you, Siegrid.
Say, yeah, why fuck not?
Feels as if there were missing words there.
You know what? Why fuck not?
Why fuck not? I
Why-
suppose.
Why fuck not?
And so with that, he bids you all adieu. As you walk home, you realize that you were basically out the entire night. And so as you're walking home, Phoebe's place is up first. And all of you see that Phoebe's extremely hot Ben Affleck-looking dad walks out onto the front porch and waves and says, hey guys, how you doing? Heard there was a party going on nearby. I suppose that's where you all stayed last night, right?
My God, it was crazy.
Yes,
Uh,
I go to parties all the
uh,
time.
I did cocaine there.
No,
Well,
she didn't.
I
She did
did.
Coca-Cola. She did
Swear.
Coca-Cola, other Coke.
Well, as long as you're not having too much fun, you know what I mean? And he winks at you, Siegrid. And then kind of looks at you, Phoebe, just sort of like, anyway, and the rest of you walk on. He, of course, your father bids you inside, Phoebe. And yeah, Eve, you return to your still and quiet home. Siegrid, you return to the 7-Eleven bunker, walking past the cashier, Susan, who asked where you were last night. She says, hey, Siegrid, I didn't see you in the bunker. Where were you?
Secret says, I was auditioning for a reality show.
Did you get a call back? Did it seem
No.
okay? And she goes back to her cashier business. And Colette, you go back to your housing complex, past a bunch of hungover people again. As you make your way past them, you just overhear, "Nah, bro, I'm telling you, it wasn't the shrooms. There was a big skeleton. I'm telling you, I'm telling you."
You good, bro?
And then his friends say, ignore him. He just got really high on shrooms last night and was staring out the window for like 6 hours.
Really?
Anyway. And he's like, yeah, bro, I'm telling you, skeletons are real. I'm telling you, they're real. And all of his friends are like, yeah, of course they're real. What? What does that even? All right. And you go back and I assume you just go into your home at this point. Yeah, so everyone is home. Phoebe, in home, at your home, in home,
In home.
in home,
In home
world.
where Phoebe lives.
Your dad watches everyone kind of walk down the street and then closes the door and he says, well, have you learned anything? What's
Jesus, sir, I was just working with friends. We didn't do
you were
anything.
out all night. Do you realize how freaking terrified I was for you? Are you kidding me?
You know that I've been trained to take care of myself.
Okay, you know what? Let me see your neck.
Didn't see a vampire last night. Wow, look at me go.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I finished the profile on that professor whose class you're taking, the community engagement one.
Mm-hmm.
It's as I thought. And he leaves for a moment. And then he returns and he takes your palm. And he says, this guy is bad news. It's exactly what we suspected. And he places a stake in your palm and he says, you know what to do. And with that, we are going to end our very first session of Augustine.
Yay.
Da-na-na-na.
Bone monster! Na-na-na-na-na! Bone monster! Na-na-na-na!
Well, well, well. So you've made it to the end. Congratulations for surviving this long. Our heroes seem to have saved the day. Saved the town and even saved the monster. As well as made a few friends along the way. Now that our adventure is concluded, I should probably find out who these bones belong to. But you should follow us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and leave a comment telling us what you think. Make sure to stay tuned for our further adventures. And from all of us here at Augustine, thank you and good night.